Okay, then this is going to be simple and practical. We're going to talk about the mechanism. As you can see, I've already done some homework before I began. So we're going to talk about every single key interaction. We're going to talk about 5 interactions, not every single interaction because it would take me like 20 years. But we're going to talk about every single key interaction it has with the production of steroid hormones. So with steroidogenesis, how does magnesium influence steroidogenesis? We're going to talk about practical steps, every single practical step basically that will get you to 1,500 nanograms per deciliter like I have. If you want to have caveman level testosterone, this is the type of shit you watch and this is the type of shit you do. We're going to talk about foods, which foods have them, when should you supplement, when should you not supplement, what are the best supplements, how do you pair supplements, at what time of day should you supplement it, with what foods should you pair, every single fucking minute little thing that's going to change your life. It's going to be here. And yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the 5 interactions. So let me preface this by saying one thing. If you just want the practical steps, go find the timestamp when I talk about the practical steps. But I don't want you to do that. I want you to actually listen through all this, because those 5 key steps that I'm going to tell you, if you know anything about randomized controlled trials, you know how fucking powerful placebo works. And if you learn these things, if you learn those interactions, if you learn what is actually upregulated and how it works and all that, I swear to fucking God, the effect is going to be greater. I guarantee it's going to be greater. Sometimes placebo is more powerful than the actual drug. And the drug is developed from first principles. If you look at some randomized controlled trials, you'd know. So that's my first preface. I want you to sit through the like 15 minutes, as long as it's going to take me to do that. Preface number 2, look, magnesium works a bit like the tires in your car. Okay? The recommended daily intake of magnesium by the little doctors and all this association and all the bureaucracy they have is 400 milligrams per day. That's the Natural Institute of Health, whatever. That being said, what they explicitly mentioned is that that is the recommended daily intake for someone who doesn't really do that much sport, who doesn't do all these things, who doesn't upregulate their metabolism, who doesn't do sauna, who doesn't do intensity training, who doesn't do cardio. Basically a bread eater, somebody who just like lives. Now, are you a bread eater? I don't think so, because you wouldn't be watching a video about how to leverage magnesium to influence testosterone. So for us, it's a little bit different. Now, obviously, there is no numbers for us, but we have to be aware of this. And also, magnesium, did I say this before? I don't know. Magnesium does work like the tire of your car. That being said, what that means is that when you drive like your little neighbor Pinuccia with her little Peugeot 206, you just go to church and to the supermarket and stuff, fine. Like, you know, you have tires for like 1 decade. But bro, if you race every single Slim Jim Magoo with his little Audi on the red lights, and you spin the wheels, and then you drift a little to show off, and then you like take turns with maximum speed to like test limits, bro, you're gonna have to change the tires after every season. And that's exactly how it works with magnesium. When you do these things, when you upregulate your metabolism, when you do the sauna and you sweat, when does magnesium exit the body most? Sweat and piss. Sweat and piss, bro. If you do sauna, if you do cardio intensity, you sweat like a pig. I don't do pigs sweat. I don't know if pigs sweat. But you sweat a lot. Magnesium fucks off. If you do these things, you're going to have to drink water, right? You're going to have to drink a lot of water. So you're going to piss some of it off. Piss some of it away, right? Piss it off. Magnesium goes away. Strength training. This also requires magnesium. Magnesium is being used. Pissing it off. Inflammation caused by the body's reaction to stress, right? The epigenetic adaptation which inflammation causes. It's needed. This needs magnesium. Finally, bro, an upregulated metabolism. I'm going to talk about it in the next thing. But the more metabolism, the more metabolism you have, basically, the more it works, the more efficient it is, the more it produces, the more energy you produce. Well, naturally, you're going to have more magnesium. Let me tell you exactly why. So, this is how it works. Now, does that mean you have to supplement magnesium? It depends. In my opinion, it's worth supplementing, and I'm going to tell you exactly how. So, let's begin with the mechanisms without further ado. Okay, our body has certain priorities, right? Our body prioritizes certain functions differently. So the body's number one priority is survival, making sure that every single organ works, the heart pumps, the liver filtrates, the kidneys and stuff. That's priority number one. And only once, you know, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these priorities are filled, can you go on to the next priority. And it just turns out that the production of testosterone, the libido and all that stuff, that's not really a priority for our body. That comes later. This is like a luxury. Whether we have fucking libido to fuck 12 times a day or once a week, that's a luxury. That doesn't mean survival. This comes later. So, these enzymes, for example, this enzyme here, there's a reason this has a big ass crown. It's not actually called C3PO, it's called CYP11A1. But who the fuck like uses this nomenclature? Like, come on, these doctors could have put C3PO. Who the fuck doesn't like Star Wars? Come on. But C3PO is, by the way, the rate limiting enzyme for this entire reaction. This is already simplified. This is already engineered to be a model. But imagine this reaction is A goes into B, right, with a limiting factor X, with a rate limiting enzyme X. If this is cholesterol and this is testosterone, X is our C3PO. So this is what dictates how much is being made and how much do we need and how much acetyl-CoA we need to make, you know, it works backwards, you know, it's always a feedback loop in our body. This is C3PO. So naturally, this is this is probably the most important thing to do, obviously, by increasing the cholesterol from acetyl-CoA and from eggs and liver, right? This is basically the diagram in my first video, the synthesis of testosterone. But, you know, naturally, logically, this is the most important thing to optimize. Now, there's a number of ways to optimize this, for example, through upregulating your metabolism, through insulin, through, what else, you know, eating a lot of fats, they actually signal that to be made. But bro, this has building blocks. These are all signals, but this has 2 building blocks, right? The first one is zinc, Zn2+. The second one is magnesium. The 2 bricks to build this little house is zinc and magnesium. So magnesium is fucking crucial here. And like I said, there are priorities. This will always be a priority if you engage in these activities. This isn't. So you need to make sure that you have enough to actually make this. And this explains, if you really look at this, this explains so much about those 55-year-old guys with bellies that go to doctors that have been smashing through their body for 30 years, unhealthy ass lifestyle, and they have a fuck ton of cholesterol in their blood, but a very little testosterone. Because they've been ramming through those systems. Those enzymes, they don't even know like where up and down is and stuff, you know. Like those are fucking shitty ass enzymes. They don't work. We know this, so we do, you know, magnesium and stuff. So this is interaction number 1, one of the most important one. This is the rate limiting factor. We want to increase, we want to always have that up, so magnesium is important. Let's talk about the second one. There's this little protein which actually, when cholesterol is in the blood, it actually needs a little protein. Imagine a cop with the little baton, the little, you know, the scumbags in the road with the little batons. One of them has usually a machine gun that like actually says how fast are you driving. Now, obviously, you're driving too fucking fast. So if he happens to shoot you with a little machine gun and say, okay, this is, you know, you've been speeding, here's the fine. One of them is there with a baton, is telling you like, okay, let's drive here, and you know, you did a problem, you know, you went 100 kilometers an hour and stuff like this. Now, usually they're scumbags and like, fuck them. But in this situation, the protein that actually does that to cholesterol, so cholesterol is in the blood, you know, speeding, and then something, it's called a star protein, is telling the cholesterol, okay, come here, like you've been speeding, you can't, come here, and let's put you into the nuts, into the balls, you know, testicles, kingmakers, and let's put you into the adrenals, right? So that you can make all these hormones and all these important things. The thing that you know, the protein that is responsible for that is called star protein. Fuck, I write star protein. And it just happens that star protein requires magnesium as a building block. Tremendous. But star protein needs one more thing. It needs a fuck ton of ATP. ATP, and once again, right? ATP, so metabolism. I actually didn't say what ATP is. Star protein needs ATP. What is ATP? ATP is called adenosine triphosphate. And what this is basically, this is the currency of your body, right? This is the currency of your body. And just like with every single, little nutrients, magnesium, zinc, your body works like your wallet. If you don't have a lot of money, if you're low on money, you're stingy. You don't want to spend money on on clothes. You're not going to buy like designer clothes. You're not going to buy like too much gas in your car. You're not going to eat out. You know what I mean? You're going to maybe live rent-free somewhere. You're going to just buy basic foods, cook all the time. That's how your body is with all these minerals and stuff. And that's also, relating to the priorities, things I said. When your body is stingy, it doesn't want to give ATP to the star protein. It doesn't want to give this energy to these cops. Imagine the government or the fucking, the little city. When the city doesn't have that much, no, actually the city works differently, because when the city doesn't have money, it sends the cops like roaming through the streets and collecting money, whatever. Fucked up. But ATP is like that. ATP is the currency of our body. You move, ATP. You think, ATP. You digest food, ATP. Whatever you do. You go to the gym, ATP. You fuck, ATP. ATP is the fucking, that is the main thing, that is the currency of our body. But there's a problem, because ATP in and of itself, the body doesn't really know what to do with it. If you give a cell ATP, it's like going to South Africa and I don't know what they have there, but it's like going to a store in South Africa and, like I want to buy this and this and like ice cream and stuff, and then giving them like the Japanese yen, right? The guy's going to look at you like, bro, like what the fuck are you? Like, what are we? What is this, Monopoly? Or are you like 3 years old? This is what he's going to do. Now ATP, he needs a brother, he needs a right-hand man, he needs like someone in charge of marketing. You know what I mean? So he needs magnesium, Mg2+. I don't know if 2+ is there, but let's just do this. Magnesium is the right-hand man, and only when magnesium binds to ATP can cells actually use it to do their function. Obviously, most of this magnesium is actually, it's actually reabsorbed through our how'd you say? Our kidneys, there you go. But some of it isn't, obviously, and it goes away through piss and through sweat and all that. So naturally, the more metabolism you have, the more ATP you produce. If you do metabolic stress, you produce more ATP, you need more magnesium. And then obviously the stingy analogy, a star protein is upregulated, so more cholesterol goes into the nuts and less cholesterol is in the blood, and you're not the 55-year-old guy with crazy high cholesterol but very little testosterone. So that's the star protein. Now, we already did metabolism. You increase your metabolism, you create more ATP, you need more magnesium in order for it to be bioavailable. Otherwise, the cells don't know what to do with it. So that's number 3. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's talk about inflammation. So one of the ways to actually increase this process, so increase the production of testosterone, in fact, there's more. There's like DHEA, then there's like 17-hydroxy, peroxy, the doctor talk. But what we want is testosterone. One of the ways to do this is to decrease inflammation. Now we can decrease chronic inflammation by not eating sugar, not drinking alcohol, not eating seed oils and all this stupid shit. But the truth is, inflammation is a naturally occurring reaction of our body to stress. Inflammation will naturally occur. There's no way to stop it. If you do this, there's going to be a fuck ton of inflammation. If you do this, there's going to be inflammation. And all, what I mean, the things you do to stress metabolically, there's going to be inflammation. It's a response by our body. Now, one of the mechanisms of reducing inflammation once it's already there, one of the ways to actually suppress those cytokines, pro-inflammatory cytokines, the thing that actually cause signaling of inflammation because of the epigenetic changes that you forced through forcing and a more difficult environment, and the body has to adapt. One of the ways to do this is through magnesium. Magnesium will suppress some of those, it will inhibit some of those pro-inflammatory cytokines, right? So boom, another way. And what does inflammation do? What does like too much inflammation do? It suppresses the signaling from luteinizing hormone to actually produce testosterone. It's another pathway completely, but there's a hormone which also stimulates this. It's called luteinizing hormone. So it decreases the receptors present on your nuts to luteinizing hormone. It causes the death, well, chronic inflammation. We're talking chronic. Chronic inflammation causes death of Leydig cells, so of the cells of our nuts, right? Chronic inflammation and all that. So that's number 4, reducing inflammation. Let's talk about number 5, the final one. This. So our body, this is actually Andrew Huberman's analogy. Our body, all these processes like cortisol, testosterone, and for example, cortisol, like stress and not strain, that's physics. Stress and like relaxation, right? Exciting and inhibition, right? All these things, our body usually has a gas pedal and a brake pedal. Our body has a way to increase. Is this on? Yeah, it is. Our body has a way to increase the excitation of our body, right? Fight or flight response, racing thoughts, and it also has a pedal. And it just so happens that the brake pedal, not the pedal, the brake pedal. And it just so happens that this brake pedal is extremely fucking useful, because when you want to fall asleep, or when you want to relax, or you want to chill, or you want to, like, be chill, what causes that inhibition is GABA. Another thing that causes inhibition is glycine, right? GABA is like the opposite of cortisol. It's the opposite of adrenaline, epinephrine, noradrenaline, norepinephrine, all these things. Glycine also. Glycine is also an amino acid which causes, it also has its receptors just like GABA. Now glycine does even more, because glycine actually will tell GABA receptors to be more sensitive. So it's easier to signal, it's easier to attach to the receptor and cause signaling. So the GABA that is already in the system, it's more powerful because of this little thing called glycine, right? Now there is this one supplement, which in my opinion is the best form of magnesium. It's a bit more expensive than the other one, but whatever. The best form of supplement, in my opinion, the best form of magnesium, it's called magnesium glycinate. I'm going to tell you everything about it in a couple minutes, because we're going to talk about like doses and stuff and like when to take it. But the glycinate is just a glycine molecule. There's also magnesium bisglycinate, right, which has 2 glycine molecules. But this magnesium is actually best taken, before you go to sleep. And this glycinate is it's just that amino acid. It enters into the system, right, through the blood-brain barrier. It enters and it causes signaling. So, in other words, magnesium glycinate will increase your cortisol. It'll make you sleep better. It'll decrease cortisol production. It's very good to take before you go to sleep. It's good for inflammation, everything, bro. Okay, so we've done the mechanism. Right, then let's talk about foods. So you've probably heard that there's a lot of foods there's a lot of magnesium in like legumes and grains and seeds and nuts and all these things, right? Like leafy greens and all the shit that like rabbits eat and stuff, And it's the truth. There is, and even if you like make yourself eat broccoli, and even though you fucking hate the taste, and like the red broccoli and all that stuff, sure, that has magnesium in them. Like if you look at the analysis of the food, it has a lot of magnesium, and it has very little calories for the amount of magnesium that it has, so it's great. But there's a problem. Now, every single living thing on this world, every single organism has a way to defend itself, to protect itself. And plants are no exception. So when you look at a human being or like a tiger or a boar or whatever, whatever the fuck, like boars have tusks and like tigers have claws and fangs, and human beings, we have brains, right, which we can use to make bows and hunt, or guns and all that stuff. But the thing is, that's physical protection. That's all we need. We don't need like chemical stupidity and all that stuff. The thing is with plants, it's a bit different. Plants, just like anything else, they don't want to be eaten. If plants wanted to be eaten, like for example, fruits, the plants want us to eat their fruits, right? When a horse comes over, he bites the apple and then he takes a shit. inside the shit there's the seed of the apple, and maybe just like 1 in 100 chance that a tree will grow. No, but still that's the fruit of the tree. It's not the tree itself. The plants don't want us to eat them. If they did, they wouldn't be alive. They wouldn't be present, right? Like, how do you say extinct? They would be extinct. Like, I think like most of the dinosaurs, or like all of them. I don't know. Like, I don't know about these things, but but bro, you get the point. They wouldn't be like plants, and they wouldn't grow if they wanted bugs to eat them. So obviously, like, if you fight a tiger, he's going to pull out the claws, pull out the fangs, and you're going to be in trouble. But what about the plant, right? What about the plant? So imagine that, like, what eats plants? Like bugs, right? So imagine you have like spiders or whatever, like hedgehogs. Now hedgehogs, I think they're reptiles, isn't it? Cockroaches. Imagine you have cockroaches, because they're bugs, I think, and they eat like leaves and stuff. So imagine you have imagine you have two cockroaches, and they're like, imagine two, like one of them is called Christopher or whatever, the other one is called like, what's like a good name for a cockroach? Like Timothy. But Christopher is like they're patrolling. Christopher is like the king of the roaches. He's like the alpha male. He fucks all the bitches of the cockroaches and stuff, all that. He has the highest testosterone and stuff. Imagine you have like, and then they're patrolling. They're seeing like a tobacco plant, right? And then Timothy's like, yo, look at this, and Christopher's like, oh fuck, that's tremendous. Let's see if we can eat them. And Timothy's like, no, come on, maybe we shouldn't do it. Like, there's food at home. Like, maybe we shouldn't risk it. Maybe it's toxic, whatever. But Christopher's like, fuck it. Like, he's got the testosterone. He takes risks. He's like, fuck it, let's eat it. Now, Christopher eats the plant. 5 minutes later, he's dead. He's neurotoxicity, right? He's paralyzed. He can't breathe. He's dead. The nicotine in the plant, being the defense chemical of that plant, caused the roach to die. What happens to Timothy? Now Timothy, okay, he returns back to the village. He tells all his mates, he tells everybody in the little village of the roaches, like, don't eat this plant, like, this is there. He shows on the minimap, like, it's there, don't eat it. And the rumor spreads, and what happens? Like, bugs don't eat that plant. It's simple. That's how plants defend themselves. It's like, bro, that's how they do it. Like, I don't care about like, the other things. So, sure, some of these compounds like nicotine, like caffeine, we can detect because they work on our neurons. We actually detect the caffeine buzz. We know when nicotine is working, all that stuff. But sometimes we don't feel them working, but those plant toxins, they still work. For example, in our gut. Now, how do they work? These things, like, for example, phytotoxins, but like phytic acid, right? Phytic acid, oxalates, tannins, all these things, like whatever, just anti-nutrients. They have various ways of working, but what they do is they reduce the absorption of minerals through the gut, right? They make it so you shit more of it out and absorb less. For example, they can, like, imagine this is like magnesium or zinc, and they can like, change the structure so it can be absorbed. For example, it can go into the intestines and like clog it up, right? Our intestines have these like microvilli, right? Like this, to increase the surface area. And they can, like, one of them comes here, one of them comes here, and one of them comes here. And then they decrease the absorption of magnesium, because magnesium doesn't have the surface area anymore, right? So that's what they do. This type of stuff, they decrease the absorption of our minerals. So sure, if you eat these like leafy greens and all these like gay stuff, if you eat that, then fair enough, then you're going to have magnesium. But not only will you not absorb as much of the magnesium, or like you'll absorb trace amounts, but also you'll decrease the absorption of the other things that don't have those phytoestrogens, those phytotoxins, sorry, like the anti-minerals. So this is the first, this right here is, what, it's so important, I'm going to write it down. This is like the first important sort of, takeaway message. The first meal of the day, your first meal of the day, avoid plants except for fruit. I want you from this day onwards, now obviously not every time it's going to be possible, but when you have control over it, when you're cooking for yourself, when you're making your first meal of the day, whatever it is, after the gym and whatnot, make sure you don't eat plants. And this is when also, step 2, that's step 1, step 2, take all supplements. Then you have no idea how important this is. If you live like this for the rest of your life, you're going to have nails growing like your ex-man. You're going to have a full head of hair for, I don't know, bro, I'm 23, but my father was bald at 23, so I must be doing something right, bro. You're going to take care of these things. Remember the analogy I said of the stinginess of your body? If you provide it with all these magnesiums and all these zincs and all these fucking vitamins and they get absorbed, like day after day after day after day of giving them, they're going to start upregulating all these processes. And like the final things, the most useless things for the body, like how fast our nails grow, like you're going to realize, bro, it grows fast, bro. You have to cut them every 3 days. I want you to do this every single day. For the first meal of the day, you avoid all plants, you take, except for fruits, because fruits, they don't have phytoestrogens, and you take all your supplements, all your little, your magnesiums, although we're going to go into like maybe you should take magnesium glycinate in the evening, or like, and zinc as well, to be honest. But you know what I mean, like just, I'm giving you the tools, you create your own toolbox. But this is a game changer. Take your vitamin D, take your boron, take your selenium, these really important compounds, take them then. Okay, great. So we talked about foods. What other foods have magnesium, right? Because not only legumes and all these things have magnesium. No. There's other foods that have them. And here is a list. Take a screenshot. I'm going to leave it on for a couple of seconds. Here's a list of all the foods that don't have phytoestrogen. Sorry, I always say phytoestrogens. That don't have phytotoxins, that don't have anti-minerals. All the foods that actually have a significant amount of magnesium, which you can leverage, right? So as you can see, there's like mackerel is probably the best one. Like there's like avocado, dark chocolate is great. On the right side, you see how much kilocalories of that food you need to eat to have to get the recommended dose by the NIH and all that stuff, the 400 milligrams, how much kilocalories you need. So obviously the less kilocalories you eat, the better, because that means that it's higher leverage, like dark chocolate, like, yogurt is kind of fine, but like, as you can see, salmon already, it's like 3,000, right? So there you go. So what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna eat mackerel? Because like, who the fuck eats mackerel? Like, let's be honest. Like, you eat maybe mackerel like once a year, when your grandmother makes mackerel or something. This is not something I recommend. This is why we start talking about supplements and start talking about when do these supplements get absorbed and how much to take and all that stuff. What I do, let's just look at my example. I'm going to tell you how, because I have the 1,500 nanograms per deciliter, and I'm going to tell you what I do so that you can see what works for you. I designed a diet which doesn't have any plants, any like phytotoxins, except for obviously if I'm like eating out or I'm on a date, whatever, like with family and stuff, with my mates. That's also, by the way, why I don't drink coffee in the morning. I just take caffeine, because coffee also has these fucking phytotoxins. It also decreases the absorption. And I don't want my gut to be like clogged up with the coffee toxins when I eat my first meal a couple hours later, okay? But that's what I do. So design a diet that you can stick to, right? We're gonna talk about the way I eat and all that I eat and every single little thing that I make, which is tasty, which I make because I love my diet. When I eat, bro, I'm fucking satisfied as hell, and I eat healthy stuff. But let's we're not gonna go like, I'm not gonna show you how I make omelets and stuff, but let me show you the macros. So this right here is the macros of how I've been eating for the past month and a half, 2 months. As you can see, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot of food. It's like, what is it, 4,321, 4,321 whatever, like kilocalories. That's a lot of kilocalories, right? Obviously I had to fast a little bit and I put on a little bit of weight eating like this, but the truth is, bro, I feel like a king. I feel tremendous with this diet and everything works, man. I got energy in the gym. I'm a monster. My dick works like you have no idea. So I'm leveraging this diet right now. Obviously, maybe when summer comes, I'm going to change it up a little bit. But these are the macros. And as you can see, with this amount of kilocalories that I eat, we have only 410 or 409 milligrams of magnesium with that much calories, right? So that is literally the minimum recommended dose by the National Health Institute. And take into consideration, or Institute of Health, take into consideration that, first of all, these guys, they're like the little skinny neck bureaucratic, like, they don't give a fuck about testosterone optimization. They just want people to survive, bread eaters. And number two, they explicitly mentioned, like, if you're an athlete, if you're doing these things, you need more. If you're sweating, you need more. So I'll be safe and I'll go for double, right? I'll go for like 600 to 800, okay? So now we're gonna talk about supplementation. Let's close this topic. What's the takeaway message? Design your diet in such a way that the first meal of the day does avoid plants except for fruits. Take all your supplements with it, and go to ChatGPT, give him the diet, make him calculate how much magnesium you eat, and then and see if you need to buy that. Now let's talk about magnesium. So there's three different forms of magnesium which are actually absorbed by our body. There's only three. If you see, a supplement, if you see a producer of a supplement saying, this is a magnesium complex with four of the best magnesium things, it's bullshit. Like, if you see that stuff, don't buy ever again from that producer. The best magnesiums are in this order. Number one, we have, I already said it, magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate. This is number one. This is it's slow to enter into your system. That's why it's great to take before you go to sleep. You can take this on an empty stomach. The glycine is an amino acid which acts as a, GABA, like promoter of GABA receptors. This is tremendous. It's a little bit more expensive than number three, which I'm going to talk about. But what I recommend, honestly, if another take-home message together with this, bro, just go on Google Maps or whatever the fuck you use and put magnesium glycinate, Now Foods. I trust them. Why do I trust them? Because Brian Johnson uses a lot of their supplements, and Brian Johnson is the king of these things. So why should I not just like leverage someone else's knowledge, right? Magnesium glycinate. Now here's the kicker. I said take all your supplements with that, but if you, similarly to me, you don't eat like plants and stuff for the rest of the day, then we're going to change it up a little bit. Then, if so, magnesium glycinate plus your zinc citrate, right? These things I want you to eat before you go to sleep. I want you to take a glass of water, small glass of water, take these 2 pills, a bit of water. It's good for like these things in the stomach and stuff. And that's when I want you to eat them before you go to sleep, because this is going to upregulate GABA, you remember, and zinc is another one of these bricks that's needed to be made, that's needed for these enzymes that produce testosterone. And bro, the thing is, testosterone is mainly produced between 12 and 4 a.m. So you want that before you go to sleep, because then they have, stinginess, right? Your wallet. It has all the money you need because you just took supplements. And that's when it fucking upregulates enzymes, right? These are bro, when I said I'm going to talk about the like minute little details, this is it. You don't get this anywhere else, man. This is how you become a fucking king with this shit. Magnesium. Number two is magnesium, whatever, I'm not good at writing. L-threonate. This is a nootropic. This is even better for like neural function, like it's a stimulating stuff, whatever. It's very expensive. You can't get it in every country. It's patented. It's because it's a new little compound. If you won't get it, make some research into it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I don't give a fuck. Like, I want to do glycinate and that's it. Number three is magnesium citrate. This is the oldest one. This is the one that works fastest. You need food with it because otherwise it's gonna fuck it up. And also this is kind of like a laxative. So maybe look, if you have problems with like the hardness of your little shits, maybe you should take this. I don't know. But personally, I would just take glycinate before you go to sleep and everything. That's it, baby. That's it. We're done. So all the supplementation, all the protocols, what to pair it with, anti-nutrients, we talked about the diet, legumes, yeah, we're done. Oh, and obviously, like, the rules apply, right? If I miss something, if there's some important thing you want me to know so that I incorporate it in the future, or you want to like share it, tell me in the comments. I read every single comment. And number two is yeah, go subscribe to the channel, bro, because you don't get this content anywhere. Like, let's face it, like, who the fuck tells you these things? This much like value in a video. So yeah, I want you to do that. So last of all, we got to do the sales pitch, whatever. Like, the killers are left, the cream of the crop. If you're serious about this shit, if you really want like guidance, if you really want to change your life, if you're serious about it, below's a link. It's my calendar. It's you book a 30-minute session with me. It's a sales call. So look, if you don't want to spend cash, don't click on it, because let's not waste each other's times. If you are really serious and you want to like go on steroids with this stuff, hopefully my authority is enough for you. Hopefully, like, caveman level testosterone, starting from 17-year-old looking like this. Hopefully that's, you know, hopefully that convinces you. Anyways, if you do so, go to that link. We're gonna have a chat for 30 minutes. We're gonna ask each other questions. Let's see if we vibe. And if I decide that you have the character and you have the and I believe that you can do this, I believe I can help you, but in the end it's you that's doing it. I'm just like accountability and all that stuff and whatever. Then I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse, and we'll see. But yeah, I know this shit, you know, from the ground up. I've studied this shit for 10 fucking years, and not to mention this psychology, the spirituality, and the sort of like traumas and like issues and everything. So if that speaks to you, great. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. Maybe one day it will. Maybe you'll also spend 10 years learning about this, so then you can teach other people. That's also fine. So anyways, bro, until next time, yeah? Ciao.